Hello and welcome once again to Akusu's blog. If you're new here, kindly subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell when you're done. Today we are going to prepare authentic village style grass cutter soup. Yes, Akranteɛ Nkwan Papa B. Come with me as I take you through this process today. All you need is your vegetables. I'll list them in the description box, so do check it out below. We have onion, pepper, some garden eggs, ginger, tomatoes, and then our proteins. Now, this is the main ingredient of our soup. I'll list all the ingredients in the description box too. So we are going to begin by boiling our dried, smoked snails. Yes, this is called Nkwan in the Akan language. We are going to use lots of water to boil it. It has been smoked and dried, so we really need to boil it before we use it. Now I'm going to add my vegetables to it. You can cook it separately or you can add it directly like I'm doing here. So feel free to do whatever works best for you. Now when I do it this way, I retain all the nutrients in the vegetables in my soup, so I prefer to do this, and it also saves my gas and electricity. Now I'm going to cover it and allow it to cook beautifully. Now this is our grass cutter, which has been smoked and dried. So since it's dried, we need to wash it with a sponge to make sure that there are no any unwanted particles on it. After, we are going to cut it into our preferred sizes. Now grass cutter is quite soft when you're cooking it, so make sure to cut it a bit bigger so that it doesn't melt into the soup. Yes. Now the reason why I also washed it with a sponge was because lots of times when it's sun dried, sun can blow over it, or where they place the meat contains sand, so normally you need to wash it with your sponge before you use it. Now when I'm done, it's time to start with the soup, and I'm going to start my soup with the base, which is meat or beef. So I'm going to cover it and allow it to cook while chopping my onions. Now you can chop it in your palms like we do traditionally, or you can put it on your cutting board like I'm doing. This one is very efficient and it's also accident free. So you cut it into smaller cubes and then we are going to set it aside. Alternatively, you can also blend your onions and season your meat with it, but then I prefer to do it this way. And if you don't want any artificial spices or MSGs, you need lots of onions when preparing your food. Onions are naturally very sweet and it adds lots of aroma and flavor to your food when you use more of it. Now this is one secret my grandmother passed on to my mother, and she also passed on to me. So if you want to make your food stand out whenever you prepare it without any artificial spices, add more onions. Now we are checking on our snails and vegetables, and we can see that the garden eggs and pepper is soft, so we will set it aside. After, it's time to check on our beef. Now remember that I didn't add salt like I always do when I'm cooking my meat. So it's time to add my grass cutter, and then I would add the salt this time round. Now I also cooked the meat for roughly 15 minutes. So I'm about to season it, and I'm adding my onions, lots of it, and I'm going to give it a quick stir. I'm adding my salt to taste, enough for the entire soup. You're not going to add any salt again, so I normally add enough when I'm seasoning my meat. Yes. After I give it a quick stir, allow it to simmer on medium heat for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will continue our soup process. 10 minutes into cooking it, I'm going to add my tomatoes to allow it to boil till it's soft, and then I'll take it out and continue with the process. You can also add your tomato paste at this stage, or you can omit it totally. So when the tomato is soft, you can blend it together with your garden eggs, your pepper, and then some ginger too. Make sure it's really cool down before you blend it so that you don't spoil the teeth of your blender. Now give it a quick stir and cover it whilst you blend your vegetables. So when you're done, it's time to pour it into the soup. Now rinse it with some water and then we are going to allow it to boil. Yes, this is the time that we set our soup, so you have to add enough water to the brim of your saucepan depending on the quantity of the meat and also how big you want your soup to be. Now, always remember that the vegetables and water go hand in hand, so use more vegetables so that you can use enough water. If you use less vegetables, your soup is going to be runny or water soup. Now at this stage, this is how the soup is going to be like. It's watery. You are going to cover it and allow it to boil whilst preparing dry fish also. This particular dry fish is called heneba in the Akan language. So when you go to the market, just ask of that. I already washed it before I hit the head with my wooden spatula. Yes, you can use anything that can easily do the job for you. Now I'm going to break it into smaller pieces. One, I'm going to remove the belly of the fish, which I don't want, and also to make sure that the ADWENE cooks really well in the soup. Most of the time, before you are done with the soup, you're not going to get a bigger chunk of this ADWENE. This is just to add more flavor to your soup and also to thicken your soup too. So this is the eggs of the fish. I don't need it, but people prefer to use it, so you can add it if you like it also. So I'm going to check on our soup. It's coming out beautifully. We all can see it started boiling, so I'm going to add my ADWENE into the soup. This ADWENE is quite hard, so I add it at this stage so that it will get time to cook well, and then it would also absorb some of the juices of my soup and all the Akranteɛ also in the soup. Yes, so this is quite simple and easy to make, or pull it off if you want to impress your visitors. Yeah. For ADWENE na sini nyina gu nkwan nim, ye ne se mani ye dem ani ye hwam stronko owie a kataso na mani hu ehu fa so pe na ode awa ho. So now I'm going to also pull the dried snails from the stick. Normally it comes on a stick like this one, and then we are going to grind it in a earthenware. You can use fresh snails, but we are going the traditional way. In one of the giant yes nano abasoni bine ye to be cheap. Mia wonsem ye chia kopem se ensuo ne beye fita kama oye ne sana aposia ne bibie wo manwea na omusna no mu hata e wo mu ni nyina no ebe free ho aka nsuo ne na mewi amekiro de wo beye owie aposa te se de mekiro wa haya no wo yi enwa no ato chansen anase bowl from fefe na aka ensuo no pe. So when you are done grinding, you have to mash it with your palm and then take out the snails one after the other into a separate bowl. After, strain it so that you only take out the water and then relieve the particles inside our earthenware, which contains lots of sand, and I will let you listen or hear the sound when I'm done with it. So the rest I don't want, just listen. So after, I'm going to pour it into our soup, which is boiling beautifully and nicely like I want. Now oil has started forming on top of it, so it means we are almost done, or we are in the process of coming to an end with the preparation. When I'm done, I'm going to strain the water again. You know, snail water contains lots of nutrients, so don't throw it away when you are preparing your soup. After, I'm going to give it a quick stir and then allow it to continue simmering beautifully. Now our soup is still runny. At this stage, don't worry about it because we would add something else when it's almost done so that it thickens our soup. Yes, after I'm going to add my POKU, or our waye as it's called in Kumasi, and the people in Accra call it POKU or tuna. So when I'm done, I'm going to cover it and allow it to simmer beautifully after I'm done stirring it. Now look at how beautifully our soup is boiling. So I'm going to roast my PREKESE or AIDAN fruit at this stage. Make sure you wash it with a sponge before you roast it on fire and then drop it directly into it. Now just listen to the sound of it. When you roast it before adding it to the soup, it brings out the flavor more. And you know, AIDAN fruit or PREKESE is also good for hypertensive patients or people with high blood pressure. So always make sure to add some when preparing your soup. Yeah. So now I allowed it to boil beautifully. Our soup is thickening up a little bit. Allow it to simmer on medium heat at this stage and then blend some fresh onions and ginger into the soup. Yes, this adds more flavor if you don't want MSG, or also thickens the soup a bit. So we are going to give it a quick stir and then we are going to allow it to continue cooking till the soup is done or till we see oil on top of our soup, signaling that it's done. Taste for salt at this stage and also adjust accordingly. Give it a quick stir when you're done adjusting the salt of the food, and then you cover it halfway to allow it to simmer on medium to low heat till the soup is done. Now after about 15 to 20 minutes, our soup is done. Just look at how it's cooking beautifully here. So I changed the saucepan and then I'm going to add some pepper for garnishing, or for those who want extra heat of the soup. Now allow it to simmer for 5 minutes and we are done. Look at how gorgeous our soup turned out to be today. This is authentic Grasscutter soup. So we are going to serve it whilst it's hot with some fufu. If you want to know how I prepared my fufu, there's a video on it on my channel. I'll pin the link in the description box, so do check it out below. Can you let me know in the comment section how you love your soup? Do you want it more spicy with lots of pepper in it, or you prefer to add pepper for garnishing and also for heat when you are done preparing your soup? I love mine more spicy, but then if you have kids in the house, you need to be moderate with it, and then I prefer to add extra when I'm done cooking my food. Let me know what you think about it, and then we would continue in the comment section. Akranteɛ Nkwan ready the pint no nya daje aba bedi bi ahwe nam bia bi wum yewo akranteɛ kakra poku kakra nwa kakra PREKESE so de nam chen adwene so kakra wum. Now I'm also cooking my okra on the side. Do you love okra in your soup too? Let me know in the comment section. Some say it makes it slimy and they don't want slimy soup with fufu. What do you think of it too? Now tell me in the comment section when you are done. Thank you lovely people for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, comment on my videos for more recipe. I would like to have your thoughts on today's recipe, so do connect in the comment section so that we take it from there. Till we see each other next time, it's bye bye.